Daily Broadside, day 1018. Yesterday, I mean, it's 8 o'clock already, and I've been sweating for 45 minutes. It's insane, because yesterday I decided to stop working at about 11:30 or so. I went to the house and just messed around in the shop, did a bunch of crap I needed to catch up on at the house. And I was outside for like 4 or 5 hours, easily, before I went inside and decided to watch the best little whorehouse in Texas, which I haven't seen since the 80s. I gotta tell you, I didn't know it was a musical. I'd forgotten that part, and I can't make it 10 minutes into a musical. I remember I went and saw that Elton John movie one time. I was like, oh, cool, a movie about Elton John. I didn't know it was a musical. I got there, and thank God, the sound didn't work in the theater, and so they gave us our money back and let us go home, because I watched some dude come prancing in, and of course we can't hear anything, but I'm like, pretty sure he's singing, and I'm like, is this a musical? I look it up, it's a musical. So I can't do musicals. Just act out the story. I don't need you to sing everything. But man, Dolly, she was looking pretty back in 84 or 5, whatever that was. But anyway, but before I went inside to do that, I was outside, sweating. It was like I felt like a wrestler in one of those garbage bags, just trying to cut weight. It was like the sauna and a microwave all combined. It was bad. Said it was 103, felt like 112. But at any rate, I drank a lot of water, and I got to thinking. I said, I don't know if anyone's ever, when do squirrels drink water? Has anybody ever seen a squirrel drink water? Because I saw one. It comes down, they come down out of their little tree holes, and they come down to get a nut, and they go back up the tree. Like, they're usually not near water, and most trees aren't near ponds. There are trees near ponds and lakes and bodies of water, but most trees, I would say a good 95% of trees, are not near ponds. So I don't know if they run down to the creek. I don't know. All I'm saying is they got to have something. I mean, they're not drinking 12 ounces of fluid every day, because they're a little tiny diminutive little squirrel, but they got to have some kind of liquid diet, and no one's ever seen one. All I'm saying is just kind of weird. And then I got to researching last night, and I had totally forgotten about this specimen. You want to talk about a beautiful creature. Monica Bellucci, the Italian actress, model. I'd forgotten all about her. I was looking up something, and I stumbled upon that. She's like if Italy made an Ella Langley. She's there. I don't know what she looks like today, but she's probably still pretty. But back in the day, whew, man, that was a beautiful woman. But I'm looking it up, and it's like she was married twice, but then she was like partnered with Tim Burton, that weirdo director that looks like an ugly, like a Temu version of Robert Smith from The Cure, And I was like, what? Like, I get it that, like, maybe some people aren't into looks and they just go with what makes them feel good and all. But at the same time, there's a lot of these little unions that happen in celebritydom that don't make a lot of sense. The Julia Roberts and Lyle, I think it's Lyle Lovett, maybe. Not a good looking guy. Not that she's beautiful, but she's out of his league in the terms of looks. But what was the other one? I mean, you could argue Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob, but there was another one. Someone that's pretty, that's not with someone, I can't remember, I had it on the tip of my tongue, but it's not there anymore. But Monica Bellucci, that's a pretty woman right there. But more to the point, I have a friend who does MRIs. She's an MRI tech, and she was telling me that, I was talking to her a couple days ago, and she's like, yeah, I had a patient come in that was 480 pounds. And I was like, wow, that's up there. She's like, yeah, she was 6'2", and I'm like, 6'2". I was like, I can't even wrap my head around what that looks like. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody that big, that tall. I mean, most women that weigh that much are 5'7", 480. I can picture that. I can't picture 6'2". She probably carries a lot better. And I said, well, and she was talking about how, big, how tall she was and all. And I said, well, what's the weight limit on that thing? She's like, our table will hold 550 pounds. And I was like, well, how do you know? Because once they get up that big, they're not going to tell. They're going to be like 360. Ma'am, you're not. She's like, we got a scale. We got to weigh them if it's even questioned. Okay, so I was okay. I said, so what happens if they're over the 550? She's like, the lady I'm working with today. She's telling me a story. She says, the lady I'm with today, she actually had that situation happen. And I was like, well, they send them to the zoo? I mean, there's got to be like a rhinoceros MRI machine or something. She's like, no. They send them to the Raleigh area for the North Carolina State University has some kind of bovine program or something. They're animal husbandry, and they have an MRI machine for large mammals. And I thought to myself, man, I don't know what would jump or kickstart my diet faster, than if I got told I had to drive 2 hours to a bovine MRI machine. That's the day we go on rice cakes and water, like that day. You know what I mean? Like, that's me. This is me driving home. I'm just like, well, I think this is a sign. This is my line in the sand. I think when I start having to get weighed in at the agricultural center of the animal husbandry program at a state university, that's probably when I try to drop a couple LBs. But I was just like, man. And imagine telling your friends, like, oh, you want to go to lunch? Nah, I've got to go to Raleigh tomorrow. I'd be like, for what? And you're like, I got to get weighed in at the elephant museum. Like, that's just got to be like crazy. That's a crazy story, Of course, if you're 550 pounds, you probably, your friends probably understand. Your friends are probably like, I wonder if she ever goes down to Raleigh for an MRI. They're knowing what's going on, but that's just crazy if you think about it. But anyway, that's all I had. Y'all have a great sweaty ass day in this freaking state. Have a good one, Giddy.